Hey, what's to YouTube fam? It's your girl TK, and I am at home vlogging, darling. And I decided that I wanted to get online real quick, and real quick and talk to you guys about coronavirus. Honey, we're going to be talking state of emergencies, the lockdown. We're going to be talking Donald Trump. I'm going to be talking to you guys about my governor, Ron DeSantis, as well as the state of emergency that we went through and how the U.S. Constitution is intertwined with a state of emergency. Now, number uno, darling, I want you guys to know, in order for me to go to my community tab and read these notes, I need to put my glasses on, and that is what I'm doing right now. And I want you guys to know if there's a glare in my glasses from this light. Oh, my bad, friend. Oh, my bad. But you know what? The show must go on. So I want you guys to know I am going to be reading from my community tab, as I already stated, and you can read along with me if you choose to. All you have to do is click on that community tab, and it'll give you a detailed account of everything that I have said or I am going to say in this video. Now, the first thing I want you guys to understand is who the president was at the time when the coronavirus initially hit. Now, if you guys don't know, the president was not Joe Biden. You know, Joe Biden came in at the end of when the coronavirus was, kind of dwindling down. But initially, it was Donald Trump. Okay, so he was the 45th president of the United States. Now, my governor at the time was Ron DeSantis. Now, my question to you is, when COVID initially hit, do you remember how you felt? I know how I felt. I was confused. I was baffled. This was a disease that or some type of flu or virus that I have not even heard of. And all of a sudden, it was impacting so many people. People were dying at an alarming rate. And I mean, it was days where I would come home and cry. I was in tears because people's lives were being impacted. And I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to catch the virus, which I end up doing. But at the same time, I didn't want to see the world, because this impacted the world. The world literally stopped, okay? The world stopped when this virus came. And I found it interesting. So that is the reason why I'm going to talk about it today. The first thing I want you guys to understand is when this virus hit, we were also provided with a public notice. Did you know that? Well, if you didn't, you are noting it today. Now, for the people in the back of the room that does not know what a public notice is, by definition, I am going to share it with you. It is a notice given to the public regarding a legal proceeding. So not only were we going to be impacted by coronavirus, this virus that no one knew about it, but we were also going to be a part of a legal proceeding. Now, since we are talking about COVID, I want you guys to understand, I'm going to break that word down into two. The first is co, the second is vid. Now, I'm sure if you know what co stands for, you already know it means two. Vid means video. So COVID literally means to video. Did you know that? And if you didn't, you know now. Now, I want to also give you a statement of facts. I think it's so imperative for me to get my point across to you guys. Now, this is the statement of facts. In March of the year 2020, the World Health Organization, which is called WHO, declared COVID-19 a global health emergency and named the virus severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, or SARS-CoV-2. Did you know that? It is so imperative that to know that, this wasn't just affecting the United States. This virus actually affected the world. And it was so potent that the World Health Organization had to stop in and say, hold up. I have to say that this is serious. Now, furthermore, I want you guys to know that on March 11th, the World Health Organization announced that COVID-19 outbreaks can be characterized as a pandemic. So not only were we experiencing COVID, we were also going to be considered a part of a pandemic. Now, when I thought about a pandemic at the time, I was thinking about The Walking Dead. Do y'all know what The Walking Dead is? Have y'all saw that show? It was really scary at the time. Just thinking about how things were shutting down what we went through, what we were experiencing at that time. Ugh, just the stressors, just thinking about it. Anyhow, I'm going to go on because I want to talk to you guys about timelines and events. Now, the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is March 9th. I think this is a very important day for me in history. Now, March 9th, 2020, Ron DeSantis. Now, Ron DeSantis, if you guys don't know, is the Florida governor. And Ron DeSantis issued a state of emergency for the entire state of Florida due to COVID-19. Now, you have to go back to the state that you live in and find out, did they issue a state of an emergency, and find out when did that state of emergency go into, when did it go in place? That is important. The next thing that I want you guys to know is once Ron DeSantis issued a state of an emergency, he gave out an order number that was a part of that state of an of emergency. Ugh. It got kind of tongue twisted just then. But that was a part of the state of emergency. And that order number for the state of an emergency was 20-316. That's important to note. So if you ever want to go back and look at Ron DeSantis and how he issued a state of an emergency, there's an order number that can actually give you an account of everything he did. There's a paper trail, and that's always important. Now, let's go on. Now, from that state of an emergency, on March 13, 2020, Donald Trump signed a proclamation declaring a national state of an emergency. Do you remember that? Do you remember how you feel when Donald Trump said it was China? It was China who was causing this. It's China who caused these people to die. And he actually said it was just the cold. It was the flu. It wasn't nothing serious, but all we were seeing in the news is people were dying at alarming rates. You know, it was really serious, you know, although Donald Trump kind of like downplayed everything that was occurring. But that's neither here nor there. Now, to go on from that, I want you guys to understand what a state of emergency is, because I think that's important. Now, a state of emergency by definition is a situation of national danger or disaster in which a government suspends normal constitutional procedures in order to regain control. So when a state of emergency happens, you have to suspend constitutional procedures. Now, isn't that interesting? It's definitely going to be interesting for me, and I'll explain to you guys in a moment why I think it's so interesting that they were trying to suspend the constitutional procedures. Just in a moment. Now, I want you guys to know that we're going to go back to a timeline, because I think that following a timeline of everything that happens is so imperative. Now, please note that on April 1st, 2020, Ron DeSantis issued a statewide lockdown. So we went from a state of emergency by the Florida governor. Then we went to a state of emergency nationally by the president. Now we boom and lockdown. Woo! Things are getting serious now. It's getting heated. So let's find out what a lockdown means by definition, because I think it'll kind of bring my point across to you guys. Now, a lockdown by definition is a state or a period in which movement within or access to an area is restricted in the interest of public safety or health. So, you know, almost like you were in lockdown prison. That's how it felt at that time. Do y'all remember? If you went through lockdown, like not being able to go to some of your favorite restaurants, not being able to go to your favorite retail or grocery store, things became locked down. It became very scary at that time. But that's neither here nor there, because we're past that now, which is really great. So let's go on from that lockdown. Now, I want you guys to note something. In 2019, I filed an appeal with the Merit System Protection Board, and I alleged a breach in the U.S. Constitution along with prohibited personnel practices. which caused a monarchy. So it is so important for you guys to know that when they caused a state of an emergency, and they were saying that they were trying to fix the U.S. Constitution, there's questions that I'm going to need to ask now. So this is my first question. How was Donald Trump going to fix the Constitution if it was already breached? That's numero uno. The second question is, how was Ron DeSantis, who is the Florida governor, going to fix the Constitution if the breach already occurred? That's numero dos. Those are two questions I need, more clarification with. And if you can answer those questions for me, leave it in the comment section below. I would love, love, love to know what you were thinking. Now, furthermore, why was notice not provided to U.S. residents informing them that a monarchy was created? So they gave public notice regarding safety concerns, but not notice that a monarchy was being created. Very interesting. Now, I want you guys to understand, with everything that I said, I am going to be alleging that Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis attempts to correct the U.S. Constitution and not inform residents that a monarchy was created is egregious abuse. It is manipulation. It is trying to hide information. It is fraud, and it should not be occurring. This behavior that Ron DeSantis, he did while he is the Florida governor, is a thriller. The behavior of Donald Trump, I am now alleging, is a thriller in its entirety. And you guys are going to have to let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section below. I would love, love, love to know what you were thinking, your opinions, your attitudes, as well as please note that my community tab is available for you. So comment, like, subscribe, darling. Please keep those notifications on. Peace, love, and happiness. Bye.